Hi, I'm Mark Richmond from Chef Knives To Go, and today I'm going to talk to you about a part of our business that is really challenging, and the reason why is because fitting sayas to knives is way more difficult than you might imagine if you just coming into getting Japanese knives and thinking that these are real fun and cool and easy to use. They are nice to use. They protect the blade, and if they're fit right, they work well. But the challenging part of this is that these blades, you can see these two knives are both 210 Gyotos, and they are different thicknesses. They're different heights, and they're different lengths, and all three of those things have to fit into the saya or else you have trouble. So for instance, these two sayas we make that are for 210 Gyotos, this is the A saya, this is the 210B. The A sayas are always thinner to fit the thinner knives. The B sayas are thicker, or wider I should say, with the slot being wider here. Usually the length is bigger, usually the height is bigger to accommodate a larger knife. Even though there's supposed to be 210 Gyotos, there's no standardized size. So this works on this usually gets us to about let's say the majority of knives on our site, but there are still some knives that are 210 Gyotos that won't fit in these two. The other thing I want to get to briefly before we get too far into this is that when you put the saya on the knife, the handle goes into the part of the slot that is curved here. It kind of looks like it should fit like this, but as you can see, it doesn't slide in there, and this part of the knife won't be covered. And I get this all the time. My saya doesn't fit. Well, the reason why it doesn't fit is you're putting it in upside down. It goes like that. Same with the Western ones. Western sayas fit like that. So remember this, because if you try to put it in the opposite way, it won't work. You can see that the blade is sticking out. And then you can save yourself the embarrassment of telling me it doesn't fit and I tell you that you're doing it backwards. Okay, so let's go back to this. When you buy the saya with the knife, what we do, and you can see here, there are no holes for the pins. And the reason why is because each knife is different. So we try to pin the knife so that the hole does not get impeded by the blade. If we were to drill the hole here, which would work on this knife, it would hit the blade. So we actually take the blade and we stick it on top of this saya like this, and we'll mark the hole here. And then we take a drill press and we drill a hole so that the hole goes right here and the pin goes in here and everything's hunky-dory, right? On this particular knife, you can see that it's a totally different spot, right? We can go way up here and pin it. And we never try to pin it so tight that you might have trouble later. We always leave a little bit of slop. And we get complaints about people saying, well, I got my saya and it's loose. Well, loose is way better than tight, right? If it's too tight, it will not work. So we always make sure there's some slop in there so that you don't have a problem down the road. Sayas can shrink, it's wood. And even if you put a nice tight pinhole placement, 6 months from now, it might shrink just enough so that it doesn't fit anymore. And we don't want to hear that. So it's really a good idea to buy the saya and the knife at the same time. So, okay, so let's say that ship has sailed. Let's say you bought this knife and then you discovered sayas, and a month later you contact me and you say, I want a saya for this knife. Can you do it? So what I'll do is I'll tell you to place the order for this saya and then put a note in the comments box and say, hi Mark, I have the Takamura Migaki 210 Gyoto and I wanted this saya to fit that knife. When we see that, we'll take one off the shelf and we will do the same process. We will stick it on the saya, we'll drill the pinhole, and hopefully it'll fit your knife. But with handmade knives like this that are hammer forged, the chances of there being slight variations is greater. So you're rolling the dice. If you buy a saya afterwards, we'll do our best to try to place that pinhole. And normally what we'll do is we'll put the pinhole back even more than normal to give you that extra bit of slop. But so that if your knife comes to here instead of here, then it'll be able to still fit. That doesn't help with knives that we don't know about. So a lot of times people will contact me and say, hi, I have such and such a knife and I want a saya for it. Well, if I don't sell the knife, then I have almost no chance of figuring out what will fit. And so you have to realize that we'll try our best, but it's a real headache to try to fit sayas that we don't sell on knives that we didn't sell to you already. And like I said, really the best way to do it is to buy it at the same time. And if you don't, then try not to have super high expectations because it may not fit. We just don't know. We don't have the knife in front of us, so we don't know where to pin it, and we don't have the ability to actually test fit the knife, which is what we do every time. Okay? I'm sure that's more than you ever wanted to know about sayas, but we wanted to try to help explain that so that when you buy a knife, you can figure out how to best put a sheath on it. Okay? Thanks a lot. I'm Mark Richmond. Stay sharp.